From the barrios to the battlefields, this is the Kaiju Caballeros podcast, the show that explores all manner of Japanese pop culture through a Latin American lens. Grab your henshin devices, cause it's showtime! Greetings everyone, and welcome to the inaugural episode of the Kaiju Caballeros. I am your host, Andres Perez, aka Kaiju Noir. Joining me on this wonderful journey, it is my friend for over 10 whole years. You may know him as Gorizard, I sometimes know him as Gorizard, sometimes David, but most famously he is David Joshua Hernandez.
Boy, no one knows me as Gorizard.
Trust me, David, enough people out there know you as Gorizard.
No, stop it.
They'll say that
I only do because I can't pronounce things correctly when I read them.
And you heard him here first. This person has been a friend of mine for a good long while. He has appeared
longer than I realized.
Exactly, and has appeared multiple times on this channel. Give it up for 8-Armed Spidey, aka Frankie G, aka Frank.
That's me. Hi, everybody. Yeah, we're doing it again. We're doing it live.
Yes.
I should say again, but you will never know about that.
So we did record a sort of prototype, test pilot, several months back, but ultimately we decided to do this again simply because we want to provide you, the audience, the best quality going forward. Now, as to exactly what quality we speak of, we're here to find out. So
but to Andres' point, just to kind of any disclaimers, because maybe someday we'll release that episode, but it's more like the impression we want to make for our first episode. I personally just did not feel like it really sold us as a podcast of what we're trying to do. So this is kind of our attempt to really kind of stick the landing, as it were. Not to say the first episode was bad, but like I don't think it kind of got our thesis across, you know.
Oh, for sure. And so I guess the best place to start for episode 1 is to go into how this show came about. So way back in the day, back in 2013, David and I were part of a podcast called the Sons of Serizawa over on Bill Wurster, aka Zazubar's YouTube channel. And we did that for roughly 5 years between 2013 and 2018. Where it was mostly sort of like a no-hold-barred, free-form conversation, anything goes type of podcast, where it's just a couple of guys, couple of dudes just chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool, shooting some b-ball outside of school, and eventually, when that came to an end...
What?
Easy.
Some things never change, folks.
It took me a few seconds. I just sounded familiar.
So... eventually, David and I, a couple of years back, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago, we were just talking and reminiscing about the good old days of SOS, and we talked about potentially maybe bringing it back in some way, shape, or form. And ultimately, with Frank's influence, we decided to sort of make a spiritual successor of sorts to the SOS podcast, but focusing it more on the chemistry between us three, where it also happens... coincidentally, that all three of us happen to be of Latin American descent. I being Mexican, Frank being Chilean, and David here being some sort of alien Balton or whatever. What was it, David?
Whoa, what?
What planet did you came from?
We come from the island called El Salvador.
Exactly. And so we decided, let's try something where we are able to create a show that sort of reflects our own personal cultural backgrounds and be able to take a look at various media from Japan. The fact that we are all raised on kaiju movies, mecha anime, tokusatsu hero shows, and be able to break all of this sort of pop culture media down through, as I mentioned in the intro, through the lens of Latin American individuals such as us. And Frank, I think you have managed to put it in better words when we initially were talking about this show.
A lot of it has to just do with kind of growing up in a certain space, being, a Latin American person or a person of color, however you want to put it. And just kind of how nerd spaces and a lot of stuff kind of grafted themselves to us and how we were able to bond with each other with not only the fact that we shared a common interest, but also we shared a common cultural heritage in some sense. So there was a lot of subtleties in between that of either how our upbringing was, how we were exposed to some of this stuff, and then just kind of how we saw the influences through our culture. Because for those who don't know, we'll probably get into it at either this episode or another, but a lot of people don't know this, but anime and things like that have been actually super popular in Latin American countries way before we got here in the States. So there was a lot of stuff that would kind of trickle down from that we either find land upon here and stuff like that. So a lot of it just kind of came via osmosis when it came to just how we all came about this. But I think ultimately, really, it's just kind of our shared camaraderie and our brotherhood, that makes us the Caballeros, is how we kind of all slowly, surely found each other with that kind of thing. Because again, with this, when we met, I really didn't know each other's ethnic background, and then it was like, oh, we kind of just did find each other like this, didn't we?
Exactly. And like I said, it was like just purely coincidental how things sort of came together.
And I think that's kind of where that special bond really came from. Because, I have my best friend who I can bond with about this stuff. But at the same time, like I said, there's that slight cultural disconnect. Not to say that I'm slight aside by me, but I was adopted. So I was primarily raised, in a Caucasian household and stuff. Not to say that my parents didn't embrace my culture, but for the most part, I didn't really have all that much of an upbringing in terms of, my Latin roots. So I think that a lot of this also came in part of me rediscovering my heritage and embracing that. Because for years, I think I don't want to say ashamed of it, just I didn't feel like I was enough in touch with my cultural background to really speak on it. So finding people like Andres, like David, things like that, where I can be like, oh, these are people who are, similar to myself in the game, doing stuff that I enjoy or have similar interests, and they're making a name for themselves. And that's really important to me. I take pride in that. So I think that also with my shared love of Godzilla, tokusatsu, things like that I can find a subculture within that genre, because everyone has a little subculture within subcultures. And I think this is kind of ours. So I think that's really kind of what I want to instill here, is have that voice for us in particular, especially not to get political, but in today's climate, I think that's also very important that we hear that kind of perspective. Just in general, I think it's more important that we just have all perspective, especially in our niche interest. Well, niche to some, but not to us. But you know what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I couldn't agree with you more, Frank. And yeah.
That made a lick of sense.
Oh, no, absolutely. You did. You put it in words far better than I could have. I grew up, in a Mexican-American household with not much of an it was more of a thing where it's like I didn't have as much of an appreciation for my cultural heritage because it was just always just there. It's sort of like once I moved. For those who don't know, I spent 6 years living abroad as a conversational English teacher over in Japan, and it wasn't until I removed myself from my Mexican-American community that I really learned to truly appreciate it and what it has given me. And since coming back to the States, I have grown an immense fondness, a much deeper respect for my cultural roots, and a much greater interest in sort of where my family came from and how much Latin American culture history has influenced a lot of the stuff that we often take for granted, whether it's entertainment, whether it's food, whether it's language, whether it's technology, all that stuff. And so you can even see that a lot in my work, Primal Warrior Draco Azul, an independent Kaiju mecha comic book series that I've been developing since 2019, where it is basically a love letter to Japanese pop culture, Japanese Kaiju mecha media and entertainment, but at the same time infusing it with my own cultural heritage to make it truly stand out from the bunch, because at the time I didn't really see anyone else really doing what I decided to take a stab at myself. Yeah, and I do want to pass the baton over to David just to see how he feels about his Salvadorian upbringing and if it has affected him in any sort of way growing up.
I'm kind of sort of in a similar boat as Frankie G,
mm-hmm.
where the heritage was always there, but I never really got into it or bothered to learn more because we've all been Americanized.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
We are
I think
all
that's
whitewashed.
That's kind of where it was. Like me in a more literal sense, like I said, my parents were both white, so like it was just I didn't have a full reference point for what it was like to just be in that kind of household.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in my case, both my parents are from the same city in El Salvador. They're both from San Martin, and I went to El Salvador once when I was a baby. Well, not a baby. I was like 1990. When did the Phantom Menace come out on VHS? Was it 1999 or 2000?
99 sounds right.
That was 99.
So it came out in VHS in the same year that it was released in theaters. Because I specifically remember
that's the case with most movies, David.
I'm about to say that you were still practically a baby. That was fucking 40 years ago.
I swear, back in the 90s, movies stayed in theaters for at least a year. You guys don't remember that?
That kind of feels real, but I'd have to check for sure.
Well, either way, because when I specifically remember when I came back from El Salvador, the guy that my mom was dating rented me the Phantom Menace on VHS. So it was likely 2000 when it came out. When I went to El Salvador too, and man, I hated
it. You're like, fuck this place. It's burgers and French fries for me going forward.
When I was there was only one McDonald's, dude. Just one McDonald's that I saw in the entire time while I was there. There was,
but that definitely checks for like a child's experience. Not fully grasping what the significance of any of that been. So that definitely rings true for a lot of stuff.
I hated the nightly rains. It rained every single night that we were there for at least like. I want to.
Now you're actually just sounding like a baby. But I digress.
The day that we arrived in El Salvador, I asked my mom, "Hey, when are we going back home?"
Yeah, and that probably broke her heart.
Did you say that right as soon as you stepped off the plane?
As soon as we got into the slums.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that was the one and only time I actually went to El Salvador. And looking back on it now, it wasn't too bad. It could have been way worse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ever had thoughts of going back there?
Hell no.
Would you? You know what? We'll make it up. One of these days, we'll plan a trip to Cancun, and I will make up for that by going to Mexico instead.
I look white. I will get kidnapped.
Well,
you're the only one of us.
Out of the three of us, I look the most ethically ambiguous.
I was going to say, out of the three of us, David, you're the closest to being a fluent Spanish speaker. I think you'll be okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, Frank is not more fluent than I am?
God, no. Absolutely not.
Oh,
I can sound like I know it, but God, I do not. Like if you said shit at me, I'd like get it, but like I said, I'm a good mimic of stuff. When I pick it up, I think that's just the dism in me, but at the same time, nah. That's what I'm saying. Like my name is Frank for fuck's sake.
The best funny because I always say I'm losing my Spanish, but now that you mentioned this, I realize I have to maintain it because I work with a lot of Hispanics at work.
Like I only sometimes slightly adopt an accent if I'm talking to you guys for too long, or if I'm hanging out at the Latin Community Center in my hometown. That's the only time it's ever like sort of come out of me.
See, all you gotta do is shout out "Azúcar," and then everyone will be like "Órale!"
Yeah. Well, it was cool. Maybe we'll dive into this in a moment or two, but it is cool that when I'm there, like some of the stuff that I get into, like I do, as my Instagram handle implies, I do Spider-Man work, and it was funny hearing kids call me Spider-Man, but in Spanish. I think it's
El Hombre Araña.
El Hombre Araña. I'm like, oh shit, that's me.
That's me.
But then I feel bad when they try talking to me, and I do not know what they're saying.
You can just say it's a Peter Parker thing. You're in character. Of course, Peter Parker doesn't know Spanish.
I'd say if you could teach me.
You could always say "Soy el hombre araña japonés."
I could, but then it also hurts because they can sometimes not even hear me because of my mask. So
that's
a lose-lose situation for me. Anyways,
that I do want to let the audience know that Spider-Man is a very big thing when it comes to Frank here, and honestly, man, like. From what you've told me of the work that you've done with kids, it's truly awesome. And to me, without getting all mushy here, you truly are Spider-Man in cases like that.
Yeah, I definitely go through the same unfortunate character arcs as Spider-Man right now. So right now I'm in my weird semi Spider-Man No More
Oof.
bringing up. That's just because it's the fucking winter.
Oh no, I can imagine that. To continue on before going any further, so I definitely want to preface the audience with this, and that is, when it comes to this this podcast, we definitely want to make it a slightly more structured version of what SOS was, where SOS was kind of like complete and utter chaos and jackassery, whereas
well,
here,
because you guys were younger, you guys were.
oh yeah, absolutely,
we were in our early 20s.
Many
20s.
things were said back then that cannot be taken back.
Oh yeah, I was a very different person back then.
We're still going to be canceled.
Until that day comes, David, we will definitely do our best to, to actually engage in topics that interest all three of us, including the topic that we will get into soon enough. And so we wish to actually provide something of substance to the audience, while at the same time let you guys know that there will be at least some level of jackassery coming on. Just
like I said, clearly we have it in spades, but like I mentioned up top, like I said, we're trying to at least stick the landing for most. And again, I'm assuming there'll be some heavy editing in this to kind of tighten it up, but
potentially, but I make no promises. But we definitely would love to listen to feedback from the audience, just to let you guys, just to hear what you guys think, what you guys would like from this show, and like just to let you know, in the future we will definitely plan on bringing on guests.
I do have a short list of people I would like to bring on. Again, all Latin, Hispanic adjacent creators. So,
for
like
sure.
I said, I'm sticking to my guns on this one. That was one of the primary things. I want those voices heard.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. And I cannot agree more. And so going forward with the next step, we've talked to people about like who we are and where we came from. Next thing I want to get into is just how we all met each other. And, at least I feel like I've talked enough at this point. So, David, would you like to recount to the audience how you and I first met way back in 2013?
Oh, boy.
Before I do, let me just say I met
Frank
under
3 minutes.
You. That is the shortest story.
Yes, absolutely.
Yours is a little bit longer, so I'm going to save that for last.
Yes.
But yeah, I met Frank through you.
Yeah.
And it was around maybe 2012 that you were leaving comments on my my YouTube.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
I actually did bring that up to him. I was like, because that's what, again, short aside, not to, that I follow a lot of people that I'm currently talking and friends with, because I have such a disconnect with their content and them, because anytime I watch their stuff, I instantly just message them and be like, hey, like, I want to talk about the thing you just made a video about. So same with David's stuff. I've been watching a lot of his stuff kind of forever. And then when it only recently like clicked with me, like, oh, wait, fuck, that's you.
You're that guy.
But like I said, it's because, like, again, when I would read the name phonetically and stuff, like my brain didn't connect how to pronounce it versus how to spell it. But that's a whole other issue. But yeah, like I said, I had a weird disconnect until it kind of clicked. I was like, oh, wait a minute. I like this guy's stuff a lot. This guy's real cool. But yeah, actually, I didn't realize. Yeah, you noticed that I was leaving comments on your stuff.
Yeah, it got to the point where, well, the one comment I remember the most from Andres is he asked me what movie would I remake, and for some reason I answered Jason and the Argonauts.
I think I remember this.
Yeah, because I don't know why around that time I was on a Ray Harryhausen binge, and I felt to this day I still feel like those movies are not only underrated but worth remaking.
I think so too. There's a lot of them where like they have good things going on, but like I feel like with a little bit of like just maybe fixing the pacing in a handful of them, I feel like they really could be like bangers.
Yeah, and he kept on commenting, and then I realized this guy's kind of similar to how me, Bill, and Adam, our former SOS member, how we talk about pop culture and things like that. And I told Bill, listen, we need our McCoy. We need to bring this dude in. And I don't know if Bill gave you an audition or something, Andres, but eventually you became a regular on what eventually became SOS. We went from ZGC to SOS because we included you and Dylan.
Right. But I think before we did that, I invited you onto my YouTube channel, specifically to review Pacific Rim, which had just came out at that time. And I believe you and the other SOS...
my brain to think that movie's old.
Yeah, I remember when it turned 10 years old. I was like, has it really been that long?
I remember seeing that movie 13 times in the theater because that's back when movie tickets were like $10, not $20.
Very true.
Anyways, continue.
Yeah, I remember I think I reached out to you remember back when you could actually direct message, you could DM someone on YouTube. YouTube had a DM system.
YouTube was way more of a social platform than it used to be. Well, it kind of still is, but like some of the intricacies definitely are gone, which bums me out.
Mm-hmm. And I think I think I reached out to you first before. Yeah, I think I was the one that initiated the conversation. Was that right, David?
I think so. God damn, it's been so long that I forgot that I was a part of that review. I remember that we reviewed the movie as SOS.
Yes, you guys reviewed it together as SOS. You and I reviewed it separately because this was before I had joined in. And it was through that goodwill, through that review, that you decided to recommend me to join SOS. And so I joined in on the second episode. And from that point on, like, the rest was history.
Yeah, this is the lore. This is the lore we're dumping on.
Yeah. And it wouldn't be like until another...
I know that.
It wouldn't be another 2 years until David and I actually met each other in person, because this stubborn fucker would never ever go to G-Fest whenever we all got together for our annual G-Fest road trip, where we would all meet up at Bill's place in Long Island, and then we drive for like a good 17 hours from New York to Chicago.
Jeez.
17 hours?
About roughly 17, a day's worth of driving.
Goodness me.
Damn.
Yes, but the
only driving. I hate driving 4 hours to California.
But we never got to meet David during our G-Fest trips, but we did meet each other in 2015 during spring break, where Bill was visiting me in San Diego. And so we made the trip out to Los Angeles to attend a Kevin Smith show, a live recording of his podcast, Hollywood Babylon. And we met up with David there. After that, we went to Universal Studios. It was a lot of fun. And we wouldn't meet each other again until, I want to say, January 2023, where you and I met up with our pal Sean Barry for the Gamera double feature that was being hosted by Steve Rifle, where he gave a very interesting presentation. It was a double feature of Gamera versus Gauss and Gamera Guardian of the Universe, sort of because they were one was essentially a remake of the other. They wanted to show different aspects of past and pseudo-present Gamera. And we had a really cool time. And then the next time we'd meet each other, I believe... No, actually, I think we met one time prior in 2022, where I was going to a bunch of conventions the year I came back. I moved back to America for good, and so I just happened to have a multi-hour layover in Las Vegas. So you and we ate at the buffet at MGM, at the MGM Resort, and we just like shoot the shit and just caught up on the year's worth of stuff that we missed out on.
Yeah, so we catch up. We keep up.
Oh, for sure, for sure. So we've met up exactly 3 times in person so far. And funny enough, I think in the short time that Frank and I have known each other, we've met up, I believe, 3 times as well, right?
I'm trying to think, because it was... Well, because we'll get into it, because it was... All Monsters Attack.
Yes, and then Kaiju Brooklyn 2, followed by 3.
That's right. Okay, wait. Yes, okay. I would say, for some reason, like, I think it's just because I like Kaiju Brooklyn, the second Kaiju Brooklyn, way more than the first.
Yes, I definitely agree there.
So I was like, don't remember it. I feel like even though All Monsters Attack was kind of a watch, I think that was still the most fun I had.
Oh no, absolutely, for sure. And honestly, man, you made that weekend worth it. Just being able to hang out and just goof around with you. And
then I'm trying to think because like. I want to say our initial friendship. I think it just started just because I was it just DMing just because we were making comments on stuff, or was it? I think you bought something for me.
Yes,
too.
I bought your Super Robot Chogokin Gunbuster.
Yes, and then later on Bruticus.
Oh shit, that's right. I bought your Bruticus with the third-party upgrade kit. Yeah, it was the Bruticus Maximus from Transformers Energon with the third-party upgrades to make it more G1 oriented.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it that too, like again, what I was saying earlier with with David's content and stuff, where I would talk to Andres, here and there, like we would just message each other like opinions on stuff every and then, like we usually do anyways.
Yeah.
And again, I would see him post from his other social media sites, and again, the disconnect was there. I was like, he really shares this guy's comics a bunch. What's that about? that shows how much of an oblivious dumbass I am sometimes, where I'm just like, wait a minute. That's his comic. I'm an idiot.
Oh my god!
I'm an asshole. I've been like, with my friends would like, because you would never you would never shove it in my face. But I never asked either.
Yeah.
So it was that. But then,
I was not contractually obligated.
Well, that's what it was. It was just like, because again, it was that separation, and then I would see you post it. We'd like comment on each other's stuff.
Yeah.
So then it was just over time, and then what was, I think the initial like really inception was like, I think you just out of the blue, you're just like, hey yo, someone fell through for All Monsters Attack. Do you want to just like sub in or something?
Oh yeah, because the table was already paid for at that point, and I had a free ticket.
Yeah, no, so it completely worked, and that was a fun trip for me. That was my first. Also, that was my first like, I think outside of visiting my parents, that was like my first real like me by myself, like taking an adventure by myself type of trip on a plane, which is really fun. I've been really wanting to do something like that again. There's just been nothing to go to.
Oh, true, and we have talked a little bit about potentially the three of us meeting up somewhere, some way, somehow, but we've still yet to really nail.
I said Kaiju Brooklyn still, like I said, we'll still have that.
Right, you're right. But like David here, unfortunately, it's like it's still a bit of a trip from from the West Coast to the East Coast.
Yeah, that's like I said for a direct meetup hub in the middle. But yeah, no, I feel like we definitely could make a whole episode about just our All Monsters Attack.
Oh yeah, but like convention experiences. Yeah, totally.
But that was fun. We even recorded an episode of my show, which maybe will come back, maybe it won't. Which I didn't even dive into what my other credits were. But yeah, but that was a very fun time at a very maybe fun convention.
We'll get to it in due time, folks. Another episode.
I would say it put this way: the good outweighed the bad of that convention.
Absolutely,
a lot of the bad was mostly fiscal.
As a friend of mine once said, "A good time was had by all."
Yeah, no, the real bad time was just had by our wallets.
Ooh, very true. And let's see. And so and you mentioned that you were familiar enough with my stuff throughout the years, and I think you mentioned before that you also grew up. Not grew up. It's weird to say grew up, even though it was technically over a decade ago. But you did mention that you followed David's stuff during this same period in time.
Yeah. So to touch on that briefly, and again, for those who don't know what David's stuff's all about, like this man, like again, this is me putting him on the spot because I said I would, and I did last time too. But this guy is like one of the master archivists of like Kaiju and Toku media, like out there, like. It was I might be getting something wrong, but it was his channel. I think the guy went by Inferno Rodan, I think, and then one other guy I think went by Baradaki or something like that. Like it was like the three of you maybe for the most part would be the only people who had any. And this was like I'm trying to think because David, how long were you doing? Because this was like pre-2010 stuff. You were doing stuff right on YouTube.
Around 2008 is when Gorizard won.
Okay, so like I was watching you around like again, so like I said, I was watching like early days of YouTube, like 2008, in high school and stuff. So when it comes to like finding clips or like source clips other than like very bit crunch, like hyper compressed, like bandit cams shit, like some of y'all don't even know what that is anymore. But like other than that, like his stuff and a few other people were the only people who had like decent of good as it could get back then quality of like Godzilla movie clips. Pretty soon after they came out, or like before the DVDs came out. So I was like following his shit all the time. So like that's also how I was able to find out about just like other tokusatsu properties, just because you were one of the few people who had them uploaded on YouTube. That was convenient and searchable. So it's one of those things where like your whole repertoire of work, again, I've been familiar with forever.
Yeah, I tried my best, even though Toho didn't agree.
I mean, that's on them. Like, it's one of those things where the fans do a lot of times do better than with the releases than the source does.
Oh, for sure. I mean, have you seen the recent developments going on in the fandom with Dragon Ball.
I was just about to bring that up.
Yeah, Seed of Might.
Independent group Seed of Might has gone ahead and done the Lord's work, fixing what's been done there. Again, much like David here, where it's like, oh, you want a 4K of this movie that the fucking Criterion Collection couldn't get right? Here you go.
This ain't Seed of Might. This is David of Might.
No, for real. Like, actually, real talk. I was so jazzed to watch the original Japanese version of King Kong vs. Godzilla because for me that was in my heart of hearts, in my mind, that was the last quote unquote new Godzilla movie I will ever see from Toho. More or less. Just because I'd never seen that version in its completion, so it was definitely because it was so heavily edited in the States, it was a different movie when I watched it. So it was, but then the fact that the quality was yellow tinge cigarette burned ass quality, I was like, this, it was bittersweet. Where I was like, this is so cool. I'm finally getting to watch this. This feels really stinky because the quality's so garbo. It was worse than the what is it? Was it Paramount or whatever released initially?
Oh, Universal.
Universal, that one's not great, but
I just remember it was very blue.
Yeah, it was very blue, but then in the Criterion version, it was just very yellow and super dark. And then David's like, "Oh yeah, here." I said, "Do you have an Avatar?" He's like, "Of course I do," and just dropped it to my inbox. I'm like, "Okay."
Oh yeah.
You know what the irony is? Ever since I got my 4K TV, my first one in 2019, I've been trying to keep up on how all this restoration works, and apparently the that yellow tinted version of King Kong versus Godzilla is how a lot of these experts want you to calibrate your TV settings to get that yellow piss filter. And
weird.
Why?
Look,
why?
Actually, on a slight side tangent, I remember one of a TV I had when I was younger had some this is back when the TVs were fancy. It had different presets, where it was vivid, saturated, black and white. One of them was called Cinema, and I remember it was kind of yellowy tinged. It was almost like having a Western filter on it, almost like a sepia tone almost.
Yeah, they want you to have that on all the time for all content, because apparently that's
and it looked like doo doo.
You know what there needs to be?
Apparently that's filmmaker intent. But
you know what there needs to be on future TV settings. There needs to be a VHS filter.
Well, that's a whole other thing with artifacting and artificial grain and shit.
Mm-hmm. And then the scan lines just ripping through the screen every so often. And anyways, so yeah.
Long story short, David's been doing the Lord's work. If you're not from his stuff, you definitely probably are, but don't realize it.
Exactly. And now,
I try.
Earlier, David had mentioned that
you're special.
And David earlier David had mentioned that Toho may not have, appreciated his works, but who appreciated his work? The Ed Godziszewski and Steve Rifle, within the pages of Godzilla, the first 70 years
of commentary and book fame.
Yes, Steve Rifle and Godziszewski, they've been researching.
I had his book, Godzilla on my mind.
Yeah, they've researched a ton of Godzilla and other Japanese films for many years now. They've released multiple books. They recently released one book all about Ishiro Honda. They did, they literally wrote recently the book on Godzilla. They've done countless commentaries over the years. Really, for me, talking personally, these were the people that really got me into the sort of how the sausage is made when it comes to...
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I love those commentaries on Classic Media.
Yeah, but as I say, that's why I really... That Classic Media... Yeah, and like I said, when I read the Godzilla in My Mind book, it was the first time I was reading a piece of Godzilla media where it's oh, this guy gets it. I felt seen,
For sure.
And then hearing him on the commentaries, I was like, oh yeah, this is sick. So a lot of that was really cool. So the fact that a lot of that stuff's now being preserved by yourself, that's super important.
Oh yeah, and the thing is, it's not only has David preserved the movies themselves in their various cuts and dubs, but also he preserved a lot of the old commentaries from those classic media discs that have long since been out of print. So
yep, a lot of them you cannot. I actually did not realize that the what is it? It's like a four. Let's say it's like a 2-pack DVD that has like I think 6 movies on it. Like I didn't realize that, and then the Tokyo Shock collection also is super expensive.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It is.
And so, like for their book, they did not have their commentaries to refer back to, and lo and behold, they credited our boy Gorizard in the pages of this book, and they credit him for preserving their old commentaries for them to look back on and be like, oh yeah, that is the stuff that we researched years prior, and. So it's like David is now technically a part of Godzilla history.
Oh yeah, and you know what else?
And we are talking so surreal.
So actually, I'm trying to think. So you're almost 3 for 3 because you've done this. We go into another fun thing that we all participated in, but you're a part of Godzilla history and you're part of Kamen Rider history.
Exactly. Yeah. This is a big
thing.
Again,
your hat trick was going to be getting something with Ultraman if that hasn't happened already.
I mean, I hope so. Because I do. Well, here's the thing. So me and August, we're going to have been keeping in touch because we're keeping an eye on how Mill Creek, or what's their new name now? Atlas, something like that.
Oh, I didn't know they changed names.
Yeah, they got acquired by a new company. They got rebranded, but they're still handling the Ultraman stuff, and they announced that Ultraman 66 is coming to 4K, Ultraman and Ultra 7.
Because I have the what is it, the Ultraman Discovery, which has a handful of 4K episodes on it.
Yeah, but the problem is that release has been redubbed with a brand new English cast.
Oh,
and we're afraid that the English dub that was done by Tetra is gonna get nerfed on this upcoming 4K release.
Oh, okay, actually, that's if you guys are somehow gonna make it so you can have all options, that'd be amazing. Because I do have reverence for I listened to the new dub. It is not bad, but I would most certainly love to hear the original dub cleaned up on a 4K release. That'd be great.
Yeah, August has the some of the original tapes that Subaraya made for him, and has them preserved. And,
you see what I mean, folks? Like, fuck the shit he is up to.
we're keeping an eye on this just in case, because what I suspect is that maybe Mill Creek did find more episodes, because I was told that the original elements for the English dub, they're not lost, they're just misplaced. So all this time they probably were searching high and wide for the tapes and probably saving them for a 4K release. But
so I do remember with sorry to cut you off. I do remember that there was actually a note in the audio feature for the initial Ultraman releases that there were some scenes that just had Japanese dialogue only, even though you're on the English dub, because some parts just weren't dubbed because of like commercial breaks and editing and all that.
No, that wasn't the case. It's because
that's the reason they said it, at least. No,
because
yeah, please.
Those DVD releases that were released by BCI and Mill Creek during the golden period of Chayo, when they still had the rights to Ultraman, they got their shit from secondary sources. But
okay, I actually didn't know this.
Yeah, Tetra actually did full dubs for every single episode.
Ooh, I did not know this. See, look, I'm learning something new.
Yeah, I have the VHS for the original US release for Ultraman 66, but they only did the first 4 episodes, and they include dubbed dialogue that's missing from those DVDs. So
interesting.
It does check out, but they got those dubs from Subaraya themselves, the same tapes that August has. So the plan is, just in case Atlas Alliance, that is their name, Alliance. So
we'll add it in the show notes.
Yeah, in case they nerf the English side of the 4K release, the plan is for me to somehow get him to send me the tapes, and I'll sync those to the 4K remaster.
Cool. And you know what? If you can convince them to get you on some liner notes duties, fucking go for it, man.
Like I said,
It's
then you'll have your hat trick.
It's an unofficial thing. I'm not actually involved with Alliance or anything like that, but
yeah, but your name will be in it. We'll know you did it.
I mean,
we know what you did, David.
Yeah, I'm going to share these as much as possible, but yeah, that's the plan in case.
We'll be proud of you, David.
Yeah,
yeah, and earlier Frank mentioned that David, not just David, but all three of us were
As for
involved.
me, I do nothing.
Hey! Like I was getting to that. All right, we were all involved in Media Blaster's release of Kamen Rider Dyad, the Blu-ray 2-pack featuring Kamen Rider the First and Kamen Rider the Next. Where
unfortunately, Kamen Rider Dyad does not appear in either.
I happen to have done the commentary. I was part of the commentaries for both movies as well as the liner notes.
You were.
And I brought on both David and Frank on board to help our team out with the research, because we had a ton of archived material that.
And I was happy to be a part of it. I was unemployed at the time.
Yeah. So we had a lot of material that needed to be translated and copied and pasted into a work doc, which is it's a lot of tedious work, but you guys.
Yeah, it took
really
a little while to figure
through.
out how to even do it, so it definitely was an arduous task.
Yeah, transcribe. That's what it is. We need
transcribe.
You guys transcribed those notes perfectly. They helped out a ton, especially when it came to my liner notes. I relied heavily on the stuff that you guys in particular translated. So I wouldn't have made those liner notes as great as they are without your guys' help. And I made sure that our whole entire research team got credited at the end of the liner notes. So if you guys,
I think I was the first thing I even asked. I gave you like a side. I was like, "Will our names be mentioned?"
You were constantly on that the entire time, and I was like,
part of it. Like, again, it's one of those things where like part of it was like obviously because I credit where credit's due. Obviously, even though the rest of y'all did the majority of the work, but at the same time, it's like it would be kind of cool.
For sure. I need to make sure.
On there.
I need to make sure my bros were solidified into Kamen Rider history.
And also, it's one of those things where I can have that fun bragging where it was like, were you in a Toei / was it Ishinomori branded product? I don't think you were.
Yeah, and so this was, for just to explain to folks, there was a pre-ordered special edition along with the retail release standard edition for those who pre-ordered the special edition. It comes with all the Japanese special features along with the original special features that my team and I produced together, which involved the liner notes, the 2 interviews that we conducted, and the 2 commentaries. The liner notes were only part of the special edition, not part of the retail release, unfortunately, but for anyone who did get the retail release, the special edition version, and will look at my liner notes, you'll see at the very last page both David and Frank's name along with the rest of our team. So yeah,
who also put in a ton of work and hours into doing the research, making sure everything was accurate.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. And major shout out to our friend Laura Fitkin, who transcribed, I believe, like half of the
she put in a lot of work. A lot of work.
And
I think between the both of us, I think we each had I think it was a section. I think maybe like 12 pages a piece, but I think she had like more than that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. She did at least half of the work there. And she is currently helping us for our next big project, which is Garo Taiga, the 20th anniversary film and the latest entry into the long-running Keita Mamiya created dark fantasy tokusatsu franchise, Garo.
Which the best way to describe it is like, what if Devil May Cry was a tokusatsu show?
Yeah, that is what I thought of this show when I first saw it. I was like, this is kind of like Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
That's not a bad way of describing it.
Or what if Seto Kaiba got into tokusatsu instead of card games?
That's also, you're not wrong there.
Also not inaccurate. If you see this guy's jacket, you're like, oh yeah, that's fucking Seto Kaiba.
Well, if you want to know where that jacket came from, check out Garo Taiga.
Yeah.
So, going into our next and final section for this episode, it is a topic that is near and dear to me. We are talking about the current state of both Power Rangers and its originator, Super Sentai, because both of them are in a very weird place right now. Now, when we originally recorded this, the
I was
test
about to
pilot,
say, it was very, I wouldn't say ironic or serendipitous that what we talked about flipped on a dime maybe a week after.
Yes, oh, for sure. So, like, last time we were talking about the weird state of Power Rangers, where there's no new season coming out. We know tangentially there is a reboot season coming out on Disney Plus. They just came out with the news that they want to go for a female Red Ranger, which is weird that they're acting like this is a brand new thing, but we've already had it in Cosmic Fury, Power Ranger Samurai. Go ahead.
It's one of those things where I think it just in today's culture, like they have to make a big announcement on it, whether it's good press or bad press. I could care less either way. But like you said, it's a thing that's been done before.
Yeah.
I wish they just wouldn't act like yeah. It's cool. It's cool that it's happening, but it's like, you know exactly what you're doing. You're stirring the pot for the idiots that would get mad.
Exactly. It's it's kind of like with Disney with Disney
that.
whenever they're like, here's our first ever openly gay character. No, wait, this is our first gay character. No, this is our first gay character. It's like, okay,
well,
guys,
that's why you get the sub articles where it's like a giant like diagram and then a small little red circle. It's like, did you know this character was actually gay? Like,
oh yeah,
that's kind of that's kind of. There's like, did you know this was actually the first Go Ranger? Because again, if you want to point to like female, not female lead rangers, but what is it? Not Dulcia, the Aquatarian.
Yes,
White Ranger. She was the leader of that team.
Exactly, because
she wasn't a Red Ranger, but she was the leader of the team. The Red Aquatarian Ranger was not the leader.
Same thing with Jen from Time Force. She was the Pink Ranger, but she was the leader.
Actually, you could say it's somewhat the same for Wild Force. The Yellow Ranger kind of was the leader.
She was definitely kind of like the brains.
Well,
of the
at least
bunch,
at least before the full team showed up. But like, there was plenty of examples of basically a female lead Ranger squad. But I digress.
Right. So
and also the at the time on scheduled Ninja Kids Power Rangers thing that again a week later fucking got canceled.
Ooh-wee. So. When Ninja Kids, when we originally recorded that test pilot, Ninja Kids, we knew that it was a thing, and they had released
the trailer wasn't out.
It wasn't out yet.
It was announced. The trailer came out, and then it got shut the hell down because it was bad.
And we got two very conflicting stories about what went on. But
and I'd be remiss to say that I wasn't looking forward to it, but I was a tad disappointed that nothing came about it because it does look to a degree before everything kind of came out. It looked like at least a modicum of effort was put into it.
Oh yeah, especially with the suit designs. They had this artist named Toku J who's done a lot of fan designs. They got him on board to actually create physical suits of those designs, which looked really sick. And from the behind the scenes productions, it looked like they poured a fair bit of money into it. Granted,
and the people of Ninja Kids, I remember them from again when they were actually kids, like. Mm-hmm. In their videos around, but like these kids or people, like they knew how to do stunts. So a lot of the stuff is that all the stunts were done by the people involved.
Right.
Like there wasn't a stunt team. They were the stunt team. Like that's why they were the Ninja Kids. Like that was their whole like shtick.
Okay, that's interesting to know because I knew I along with the majority of guys,
they did Power Rangers stuff when they were like again when they were little kids. There was videos of them like meeting like Power Rangers cast members and stuff when they were kids. But again. Doing like stunts and like doing backflips over like off of cars and stuff, but like not being like not sucking at it. Like they were actually genuinely good.
Right. And like I said, like for like me, like the majority of folks out there, I knew nothing about Ninja Kids, but I can see why it's popular with actual like the child audiences. I can see why
they've been like 10 years or so because those are now teenagers.
And I can see why. Go ahead.
I said they're teenagers with attitude.
Yeah, literal teenagers. I can see why Playmates reach out to them for this official collaboration. However, then the trailer came out, which is weird. I thought it was officially released. Now they're saying that it was actually leaked. But again, we'll get into that. And it was revealed that the majority of the effects, if not all of the digital effects, were all 100% AI generated.
And it wasn't even like subtle AI. It wasn't like an explosion that you could see, like where like you have to have a fine tooth comb. Like no, it was like transformations were like very like not even like current generation AI, like when AI first started, where like something would warp weirdly and like a face would change. Like, so it was like very badly done AI.
Like the explosions were AI, the lightning effects were AI, the text was AI, the music was AI, the logo was AI, everything was AI generated. And, you know, for me, I had very low expectations for this because I knew it was a low budget project. So it's like, I didn't get upset over it like a lot of people did. I was just like, huh, that sucks. Anyways.
Yeah, it just seemed kind of like a bummer where it's like, oh, they look like they put like a lot of work in it. And then just, well, that's gone.
Yeah. So initially, the story was, according to the producer of this project, they were given a very low budget, which was, I think, in his words, 20% of the budget of an average episode of Power Rangers. And so because of that, they went to a special effects team that happened to have specialized in AI stuff. I've never heard of such a thing. I don't know if that's really a thing in the industry, but who knows?
They should have hired the guy who did the Filipino Power Rangers, the Ranger kids.
Oh, shit. I was going to say, it's not that hard to find, like, royalty-free green screen explosions and shit.
I mean, they did it. That was like, hand-drawn on cells and shit, but they did that little transformation. It was kind of neat, even though that whole movie is garbage.
Yeah.
We should do that as a commentary someday. Future, I'm plugging it later.
Maybe, yeah. After that, then we eventually got the news that the project was canceled altogether, when apparently we got a new explanation that apparently Hasbro never okayed this project to begin with, and the trailer that came out, that was technically meant to be placeholder effects, not the final version.
I don't buy at all.
It's like, oh no, those the AI stuff shit, that was temporary. Yeah, we were gonna use real effects after that, and that was meant to be a proof of concept to show to Hasbro for them to carry on their project, only for Hasbro to say, this looks too professional, we're gonna say no to this because it looks too close to the thing that we're working on right now.
Yeah,
which again,
I don't buy
that. No, I think they're giving themselves way too much credit there. So I'm more inclined
it's really just they made a bad call.
Yeah, and also
and it probably what I imagine was probably years worth of work.
Also, what gave it away was like when the trailer initially came out and they were going with their first story that, hey, we don't have a lot of money to work with, we went with these AI people. A lot of the actors were defending that trailer and its AI effects. So it's like, if this was meant to be temporary placeholder assets, why were the actors themselves going onto Twitter and defending this trailer?
Because again, for them, like, they don't know those special effects are being used until that's on there.
Right, for sure. I mean, yeah, I can sympathize with the actors to some degree, but it just goes to show that it's like, they weren't aware, like, if this really was temporary, why would they be, like, so diehard about defending the project that they worked on? But, oh well, it was a flash in the pan, and now it's no longer a thing. Meanwhile, Power Rangers still exists through the Reignition line, which is an attempt.
Is not bad.
Yeah, it basically
as a toy enthusiast myself.
Yeah, basically it's another attempt to reintroduce Mighty Morphin Power Rangers to a new generation of kids through a lot of new toys they can get of the Rangers and their weapons and the Morphers and the Megazord, while showing AI upscaled HD episodes of the first season onto YouTube.
Which look no different from how they originally were, because those were shot on film.
No, I think, Jew Ranger was shot on film, but I think the original American footage was shot on, like... Stuff. Yeah, the American stuff was shot on, like digital, like, it wasn't film, I think it was, like, digital, like, TV, like, standard definition...
TV.
Yeah, basically the kind of stuff that can never, quote-unquote, naturally be turned into, remastered for HD. So in cases
it wasn't designed for it.
Right, it wasn't designed for HD, for anything above standard definition. So the show has always kind of had a very fuzzy, blurry look to
90s
it.
look.
Very 90s. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like, in this case, I understand the need for AI upscaling. I mean, AI upscaling is all over YouTube. If you look at any old content that has like HD 4K options on there.
I mean, it's better than what they used to do on YouTube, where they would like try to auto adjust stuff. That shit was disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if you ever had one of your videos done. What they did that to one of my videos, and it like ruined it. Like it tried doing like a steady cam thing where it tried like centering a shot constantly.
Yeah.
It like destroyed an entire video. I had to like re-upload it because it like looked so like awful.
I mean, the ones I always hated are the 60 FPS options, which, unless it's gameplay, I never want to see that option applied to movies and TV.
Yeah, no, some things I just aren't meant to be that. Especially old anime is not meant for 60 FPS. It should never look like that. I feel bad when I was side tangent. When I was introducing my friend to old school Dragon Ball. The first couple episodes on his television looked disgusting.
Ooh.
Because again, Dragon Ball, great show, but not meant to be seen at that high frame rate.
But anyways, that is currently where Power Rangers is right now, where, you got stuff for the kids, but the big question I asked last time, and I'll ask you guys right here and now, is there a place for Power Rangers, especially Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, for kids these days?
I will let David answer.
Yeah, because you haven't talked to him, David.
Yeah, we need to shut the hell up.
I'd say yes and no. Similar to how, the Showa Godzilla films technically have a place nowadays. Like, there's a fondness for that classic period while at the same time embracing the new iterations of those characters.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a balance of restoring or remastering Mighty Morphin and bringing forth a new version of the show for a new generation could balance the scales of if there is a place where Mighty Morphin versus, not being.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, well put.
And so, do you think that, or do either of you have any faith that the Disney, since obviously Ninja Kids isn't happening, do you think that the Disney Plus show could potentially be the thing that brings Power Rangers to life? And we know for a fact that it's not going to rely on...
Disney had Power Rangers at one point.
Right, but they're not producing it. They're simply hosting it. This is still going to be, from what I understand, a Hasbro production. And on top of that, we know for a fact that we don't know if it's Mighty Morphin or not, but we do know that it's not going to rely on Sentai footage anymore.
For me, I think a lot of it really comes down to, at this point, do they understand the formula of how it works? Because I've seen some modern stuff that has its own like bespoke footage that they've made originally for the show, and I feel like they have gotten a lot better with stuff. But I feel like there is a certain charm to some of the stuff that I think you just can't get out of American footage. Not to sound like it's impossible, but I feel like, at least with older stuff, I feel like there's a charm to it. Modern stuff, it's really hard to tell these days. But I feel like, and what's hard for me to really give an honest opinion on it is because, we've seen Mighty Morphin get rebooted at least 3 times in our lifetime. So it's really hard to be like, I'd love to see more of the same thing for like the 97th time. Definitely it's like every kid needs a Godzilla, every kid needs a Power Ranger. But at the same time, it'd be cool if like they got something new. Obviously embrace the old, have your classics, because you can't not have that. Like, there's never not been a Dino Megazord available for purchase throw a rock at a decade, within that time frame. There's always been one on shelves. There's always been a Red Ranger toy to buy of the classic Mighty Morphin, I should say. But I'd be curious just to see if they really try to either reinvent the wheel or make something interesting and make it their own, and see what type of continuity they base it into. Like, are they going to do something from the comic books, which has gone on its own crazy direction?
Oh, big time.
Which I'd be curious to see adapted live action, because they're doing some interesting stuff in the TV, in the comic books, that again, is something that I feel like the shows and with the movie, the live action movie they tried, kind of had it in spades where they're upping the ante. It's still teenagers with attitude, but it's teens of today and not sitcom style teenagers. It's trying to be authentic, how someone like that would talk. So like a lot of the news, like it's almost like they're making this for teenagers, not so much for kids. And obviously it's still for kids inherently, but I feel like they were trying to broaden the demographics so teenagers would kind of be into it still. If that makes sense.
Big time. And given the fact that this is streaming, I think would be a great template to base their this project off of. I would love it if this was something more along the lines of Cobra Kai. I don't know if either of you have watched Cobra Kai.
Yeah, no, I exactly what you mean, because there's been a handful of shows like I've been watching, what is it, American Born Chinese, which again is based on a book, but the show has a bunch of like wire work and stunt and like like martial arts film inspired like scenes and stuff. But again, like I said, it's got that broader appeal where I think it has that. Where it has like modern takes and modern sensibilities, but it still has a fun, lighthearted, sense of fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Which I feel like Power Rangers has been needing, especially at least on the when it comes to like the human stuff. Like the human drama definitely needs to be updated, so like I can watch it, not roll my eyes at it.
Yeah.
Not that I don't mind the old stuff, because again, the old stuff has its place because that was the landscape of children's television at the time.
Right.
That's kind of where like they were trying to get the more older young adult teen demographic of like, we're gonna still have it be lighthearted with like the fighting and stuff, but like we're gonna have the subplots have a little more, have a little more to chew on, which I feel like has been missing in a lot of that stuff lately.
Absolutely. And what do you think, David? Do you think if there's anything you could model a Power Rangers reboot off of from the modern entertainment landscape, what would it be?
If I was the producer, I would have like done it similar to how Adness did Kamen Rider Dragon Knight.
Oh yes, I remember I watched. Like I didn't, unfortunately.
Actually, I'm going to put David on the spot. David, can you do something about getting us all of that as something that's watchable? Because like I've been wanting to rewatch that, and it's horrific.
Funny you should ask.
Is that exclusive?
I did buy the official Toei Japanese DVDs, and those are the highest quality versions you can possibly get, and I can't technically put them up. It will be easy to do. So yeah, I'll do something.
Because I enjoyed that show. Unfortunately, like I was nearing high, like to go on a complete side tangent. That's kind of what I was referring to. I was a teenager when that one came out.
Mm-hmm. We all were. It's like that's another funny thing, ladies and gentlemen. Not only are we all kaiju,
you were an embryo.
We're all kaiju fans. We all happen to be Latin American, and we are all the same age.
Are we?
Yeah, we were all born in '92.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, carry on.
What I was saying is that I was in high school, high school.
Yeah, high school.
I was just saying it because like, when did my parents get divorced? High school, because I remember watching it at my dad's place.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I remember watching it. It was like the way they had it on the lineup block. It was the last show on the schedule, so it was like at 11:30 noon. So like scheduling wise, that was like when I usually would be done with doing whatever I was doing. Dedicate time to homework, lunch, hang out with friends and that. So like it was right at the cusp of like me like being a little too old to watch stuff like this, and then also just time frame wise. But I remember from when I watched, I'm like, I could get into this. Like the story was a little more grittier. It wasn't as cartoony because again, like the way they present these characters again were being sold to me as like these are like more grown up than Power Rangers, these type of fighters. Mm-hmm. So I feel like if they introduce it in that kind of way, I definitely feel like it can work. So that's actually kind of what I wanted out to it. So you bring up a good point by bringing up Dragon Knight, where that was a solid attempt at adapting, again, another Toku property, but again, giving it a little more mature lens to not, dilute it and have it seem so similar to Power Rangers at the time.
Absolutely.
And Cobra Kai, I haven't seen that yet, but I heard very good things about it.
Mm-hmm.
I might get into it now that the show ended.
Oh yeah, it's over now. It's ended now. Highly recommend it. The drama's great. The acting is great. The callbacks to the original movie series is great. The fight scenes are amazing. It's like, these are the fucking teenagers with attitude I'd love to see dressed as Power Rangers.
Well, that's that. Well, and again, going back to the Ninja Kid thing, again, those kids like would do like those. They did stuff like that. So like, it's a bummer that they probably had like really cool choreography in that whatever they probably made. And again, it's a bummer where like that's the thing too that I think I liked that I still enjoy about like watching either the American adaptation or the Sentai is like I enjoy a good like martial arts based show like where people are doing wire work stunts.
Big time.
That's not a thing. That's like I think that's the only genre on television currently that still exists like that, where it's wire work based stunts. Like most like action dramas, it's people holding guns leaning against door frames. Like what I'm saying. Like I want a little more spice. I want people doing like backflips out of roofs. You know.
Yeah. Or like people loved the original Netflix run of Daredevil, and people love those like single shot fights where the hallway scene from season 1 is still a modern marvel to this day.
It's why I like Shang-Chi up until the very end where it gets a little too CGI.
Oh yeah, like just seeing the human body move in a way that we can only dream of doing ourselves, but it's real. That was, I think, has always been a big appeal for Power Rangers growing up as kids of the 90s. But like
seeing like the live actors again. That's the thing that's too, even though they're being goofy on screen, I'm like, these people could kick my ass in real life. They are acting, but this guy could drop me in an instant.
Right.
Like I kind of like that idea of like, no, these dudes could it's something that they obviously have stunt actors doing some of the other stuff, but at the same time, it's like they're doing a lot of the stuff themselves.
Oh, big time.
And that's terrifying.
And you know what? I think that's always going to be really sick to kids these days. So it's like,
that's why what is it? Ruben Langdon hired Johnny Young Bosch and I forgot what the other guy's name is. Did Virgil, but like he had them be on Devil May Cry because they worked on Power Rangers, so they knew how to do stunt work. They knew how to take a fall. So like that was why he literally like requested them both. It's like, hey, if you're gonna have two dudes, these two, one because one guy's already a good voice actor, but two, like I worked with them on Power Rangers for like 5 years. This guy knows how to do stunts.
Gotcha. Yeah. That makes total sense.
A lot of people that have done stuff for Capcom and stuff have done stuff on Power Rangers in the States.
That's really cool.
Just because they're familiar with the stunt work.
Also, I want to say Johnny Young Bosch, coincidentally, I think also did some voice work for the Dragon Knight video game. I forgot which character he played.
I think he was. I want to say he was the titular like main guy.
Oh, cool.
Also, he's a voice in Godzilla Singular Point.
I want to say that he's also involved in Ultraman somehow, but I forgot where.
He's somewhere.
Yeah,
he's everywhere.
He's done everything. Yeah. He's in everywhere as much as Kane Kosugi, who was Jiraiya from from Kaku Ranger. He was the main rival from Final Wars. He was one of the bad guy. The bad guy.
He was Ultraman.
He was Ultraman from Ultraman Powered, and he was the bad guy for the evil Kamen Rider from Kamen Rider Revised, the movie. So yeah, he in live action he played a Ranger, a Rider, an Ultraman, and a Godzilla character.
Yeah, and the funny thing too is that him and Godzilla were also in Super Sentai.
That's very true.
Kitagawa was Ninja Ranger Black.
Yes! Godzilla played the same Ranger as Kane Kosugi.
Yeah, so Kaizama was in, like, actually what's funny, I don't think they ever have screen time together.
Oh, wait. Oh, Godzilla and his Final Wars character? Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're not like, him and the other guy are, Ozaki, but like, it would be funny though if it was the other way around to have that moment, because like, it's him and his stunt actor doing the same shit. That's sick.
For sure. So, since we're going into the Japanese side of things, let's move on to the last topic of today's episode. The end of Super Sentai after 50 years. After 50 continuous years with zero hiatuses, and diminishing returns, especially within the last 10 years, like
Which
post...
is a real shame, but not surprising.
Yeah, post Kamen Rider decade, post, like, I want to say around, like, post Gokaiger.
I want to say Gokaiger was really when they hit their apex of, like, this is fucking nutso town.
Yeah, but then after that, it's just been diminishing returns, resulting in Bandai trying to switch up the formula with every season. It's like, oh, this season it's cops and robbers, so we got 2 Sentai teams. That didn't work. How about a team where all the majority of the Rangers are robots? That didn't work. How about a team that starts out as 9 Rangers, of some of them are alien looking, some of them are human looking, and then we expanded to 12 Rangers. That didn't work. How about a Ranger team where the Black Ranger's a cartoon dog and the Pink Ranger's a dude for the first time with really long legs? That didn't work.
Yeah, I think what it is like they reinvent the formula, but at the same time, they always have the 3 weird strat where it's either a larger than normal team or it's a 3-person team that becomes a 6-person team.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, you get a very, very toyetic Megazord. I'm just going to call them Megazords. I know they're technically called Robos, but I'm just using Megazords.
But no, I think that's for me too, is like obviously from a collector standpoint again, where it's like the biggest thing for me, the draw for me when I was a kid outside of the Sentai stuff, which is now the reverse, I always look for the giant monster fights.
Yeah.
But like, because these new robots, again, they're so toyetic to a point where like it's uninteresting. It's a big block. Like there's nothing going on. Sure, you could say Dino Megazord is a blocky guy, but like there was something interesting about it.
Yeah, and there was also a consistent theme. It's like the original Daijujin. He is like a Viking barbarian beast lord of a being.
And also they hid the way the thing transfer. Like obviously his legs are clearly the 2 other creatures, but like the top half you couldn't tell.
Right.
So
there was
like the way things were combined. Nowadays it's like these things don't even like transform. Like even like a transformer, you know, when a combiner, like clearly, you know, his arm's a car, but like it's folded in enough where it's like it's car shape, it's car like aesthetic in style, but it is a arm. So, but now with the modern Sentai, I notice it's like, oh, this beetle, that's just a beetle on his arm. That's not an arm. That's a beetle. Like,
yeah.
Like you didn't change anything about it. You just kind of stacked them on top of each other.
Yeah, either they're stacked up on top of each other, or it's just arm, leg, body. That's it.
All of them, I noticed a lot of them just become like arm gimmicks. Like it's like, well, your whole Zord is, most of your team is just your arm support. You are like the Red Ranger Zord has become just the primary body of the Zord.
Yeah.
And then they just kind of put the support team sort of in them.
Right. That was the thing with Ryu Soldier, where, yeah, the Red Ranger could literally fight on his own, and then every other Ranger just, like, connects to on top of him like Lego blocks.
You know, it doesn't have the problem, Gigabots, but we'll go into that another time. I showed you Gigabots.
I believe so. I remember you showed me that, yeah.
We're going to watch it again next time.
Oh, fuck.
Everyone else, look up Gigabots by the not the Fine Bros, the Something Bros, but like look up Gigabots. It's probably one of the best Power Rangers / Evangelion
now
parodies.
I remember. Yeah. It was like a very Adult Swim-esque sort of thing, but it was like surprisingly really good.
No, like it actually generally was good because it actually had a plot and an ending.
Yeah.
And it didn't devolve in the same joke that every Power Ranger parody makes.
And here's the other... Go ahead.
And also that brings more to a point. Power Rangers has just become kind of parody of itself where, like, you know to expect. You're not going to get wowed this time. So that's why it's kind of, you know, sinking.
And I guess that's the same case in Japan, at least for Super Sentai, where it's like there's nothing really... You can shake up the formula you want, but like the base formula of what to expect, the baseline of what to expect from Sentai just doesn't do it for kids as much as Kamen Rider has. Like, Kamen Rider still has... up until recently with Zets, a very toyetic design, especially with the belts and the little collectible tchotchkes that you plug into the belt.
Yeah, but I feel like what separates is that their character designs are still very interesting, especially when they pick a motif.
Oh, for sure. And a lot of people like the writing of these movies. They still are invested in the characters. And
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's still inherently for children, but the stories are like, I could point this to someone who like likes K-dramas and be like, watch this. You'll probably enjoy it. Minus the Bugman fights.
The funny thing is, like, you know, X-Aid, Kamen Rider X-Aid, the video game theme, to me, that is the stupidest looking design I have ever seen for a rider, and it just gets progressively worse with each transformation, and yet people love the shit out of the story and those characters. So it's like,
Yeah.
Which Kamen Rider?
X-Aid.
Oh, X-Aid.
Yeah. Well, I'd say that's also what's been helping a lot of modern Ultraman is that I've really enjoyed some of the writing in a lot of new Ultraman series. Is that like I'm like it's not like the worst.
Yeah,
really.
I feel like for me, Ultraman, like I really love stuff like ZX and Z, Ultraman Z.
Yeah, Z's probably my favorite of the modern. It's probably Z, Jeed, and Orb.
I haven't seen all of. I still need to watch all of Orb and Jeed, but I
definitely recommend if you like. Also because they cross over so much with each other in that one that it feels like you're watching one big series.
Okay,
especially Orb to Jeed.
Yeah, I remember like having watched all of Arc and Omega week to week. I feel like both of those shows feel kind of like very safe for Ultraman. Like they still try to. Again, it's like Super Sentai. They kind of change up the formula. There's no Science Patrol. There's no like human host for the Ultraman in Omega's case, but it still kind of feels like we like treading familiar ground. For both
I think
shows.
moving away from like the SDF like formula. I feel like because they haven't done that in a long time. Honestly,
yeah, but it feels like that's not enough.
Zed had it, but it was very different.
Oh yeah, very mecha focus, which
that was more watching like you're watching Mobile Suit Gundam.
Yeah,
which again worked, but like to your point, it's like again, it's not like you can't compare them to Guts. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like or the guys team like. They are very different. The style, how they act, like it's very different. Because again, they're borderline Sentai characters almost, where they're wearing colorful outfits and they have their their trademark shticks of like that's the dorky one, that's the science weapons wit. Like they had their weird character tropes. This time around, they're more versatile. I've noticed because they kept it small.
Here's the funny thing with those type of like Science Patrol type characters. They are, they're in a way like Super Sentai characters, but they're simplistic enough to where they worked as background characters, whereas for Super Sentai, they're the main characters. And I wonder if that simplicity is what has turned off the target audience, that being kids, over in Japan. But since David hasn't spoken in a while, I'm curious to know what he thinks about the decline of Sentai over the last decade. Why do you think, David, that Sentai has had struggled up to this point?
Honestly, I thought things were working for Sentai. I thought the way that franchises like Sentai and Kamen Rider make their money back was through toys.
Oh yeah, but it's the toy sales that have actually declined. There was a chart that was made on Reddit that beautifully maps it out. I'm going to try to find it and send it to you guys as you talk.
But yeah, because I'm not going to lie, I stopped watching modern Super Sentai around the same time that Shout Factory started putting out the early Heisei Super Sentai on DVD.
Well, I feel like the same way that you probably feel, where it's like a lot of this stuff, obviously, because we're older, doesn't appeal to us much. But at the same time, again, I think even from a collector's standpoint, you could say that none of that seemed as appealing, right, compared to how the other stuff was made.
I mean, it's not just that. To me, like, I really, really, really love Kamen Rider Gaim, even though it had a ridiculous looking motif, which was about fruits.
Yes, fruit samurai.
But the story is surprisingly dark, and I enjoyed it because of that. And Sentai, I kind of tolerated it, but the one that didn't really, well, I guess the one that made me give up, because I haven't seen Sentai since Tokyuger, and it was released in 2014, so I guess
which one was that? Was that the train one?
Yeah,
yes,
Tokyuger.
The one with the trains.
Okay.
I thought they went a little too far with that motif. Like, really, they ran out of ideas.
The one with the recent one where it's not even like a car engine; they're just tires.
Oh yeah, they have tires on their faces.
I kind of dug the way it was, when they added the jackets. I was like, okay, that's kind of tight.
Did you guys get the link I sent you on Facebook?
Yeah, okay. So Kamen Rider's beating them in toy sales?
Big time. It's like no comparison. And you could see a decade. here's the thing. Oh, I remember TJ Omega, a friend of mine who is a Transformers YouTuber, but also a longtime Kamen Rider fan. In fact, I got into Kamen Rider through his top 10 wildest Kamen Rider moments that he made on Blip way back in the day.
I haven't heard that in forever.
I really hope he uploads that somewhere one of these days. But I owe it to him for why I got into Kamen Rider. But he made a video about the end of Super Sentai, and he put it together. He put it together like this. He said something along the lines of, the thing with Rider gimmicks is that each collectible toy has a lot more play features for a child to enjoy than, say, the collectible gimmick of a Super Sentai series.
Which I can agree to, because it's like a fidget toy. It's, like I'm looking at my Kamen Rider double belt. Mm-hmm. I have to pull up the driver, hit the button, clap it in the belt, twist split the belt open, hit another, there's steps to it, so it's fun. And then with the Sentai, it's like you hit the one thing on, it's done.
And it's like in the show itself, each of the collectible tchotchkes can unlock a new transformation that's important for the story to progress. Whereas in Super Sentai, they
do the same thing every episode.
They do the same thing every episode. And most of them don't even unlock transformations. Most of them, from what I understand, or they don't even make different sounds. The reason why Go Kaiju became as popular as it did were the Ranger keys, which people loved collecting.
Oh yeah, they had sound bites, didn't they?
Here's the thing. There's a soundbite, but it's only one soundbite per team, per season. So you put in the Red Ranger, Jew Ranger! You put in the Black Ranger, Jew Ranger! You put in the Pink Ranger, Jew Ranger! It's the same... Go ahead.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
But that's a fucking bummer.
That's where Sentai fails. It's again looking at it as children buying toys that does the lights and sounds and action stuff. It's very repetitive. Whereas with Kamen Rider, it's always something new going on that makes a new jingle, a new noise, a new thing for each one of their collectible little monitos. But when it comes...
and I think what helps too is that, again, like Power Rangers has been so saturated and parodied like stateside too, that there's a kind of a blurred view of how it even is stateside or West, like Japan side, because it's like,
oh, true.
It's so unraveled upon itself, because that's the only one from Japan that we've adapted. It's been ongoing in the States too, concurrently almost.
Right. And it's going to be really interesting and ironic to see a world where Power Rangers is still a thing on Disney Plus, while Super Sentai is dead in the water. That's going to be a really weird time to live in.
That's what I'm scared.
But replacing... go ahead.
Well, I was about to talk exactly what you were about to talk about.
Go ahead. Introduce it this time.
Well, at least we'll have what are they rebooting? I know they're rebooting Gavin, but are they rebooting the entire Metal Heroes franchise?
From what Andre told me, they're not.
Yeah, so they do not consider Gavan Infinity to be a Metal Hero show. They're saying, and I think they're saying that just to be on the safe side, just to keep expectations vague. So it's like, they're not saying that Metal Heroes is back per se. They're just saying that just Gavan. Yeah. And that, so to I guess elaborate for the ladies and gentlemen listening in on this podcast, they are going to be, Toei decided to replace Super Sentai outright with a brand new franchise called Project Red. Red, let's see, standing for...
Project Red is the name of the franchise?
Yes, at least for now.
Yeah, placeholder.
Project Red is... Let's see.
So does this mean it's going to include other stuff besides Metal Heroes?
Potentially. They say...
that's what we're curious about. Like I said, what if they... Again, they might have like... Well, because it was Metal Heroes, and then like, even though technically like... Yeah, I don't know. It's curious now.
I mean, that's the funny thing. Okay, so Project Red stands for Records of Extraordinary Dimensions,
that's fucking Metal Heroes, dude.
Which is vague enough to where it could mean anything, but basically...
the VR troopers are back.
It seems like they want to at least carry on the spirit of Super Sentai from what we've seen with Gavon Infinity. We have a team of Gavons of multiple colors. The main character is red, and we got Megazords again.
Yeah. I mean, there's been quote-unquote Zords in Metal Heroes before, so it's not like...
Right. Like, Gavon has Dole, the robot dragon, and Just Beyond had... I think it was Daileon is the name of the...
And then B-Fighter Kabuto had those weird giant beetle robots.
Yes, and then B-Fighter Kabuto had two, like a green and a gold giant robot.
Yeah, that you had, and I was like jealous of. I was pissed.
I just hope the goal is not to emulate Super Sentai, because Metal Heroes is its own thing. It has its own charm.
Oh yeah, no, that's why when Metal Heroes was brought here, it had to be changed so drastically.
And here, like, it's interesting that, earlier Frank brought this up. When Kamen Rider went into hiatus during the 80s, Metal Heroes was invented specifically to fill in the gap that Kamen Rider left behind.
In our hearts.
And then once Kamen Rider came back full-time in 2000 with Kuga, then Metal Heroes no longer had a place for Toei and was...
Which is so strange, because, like, I'd be very curious to see what the, like, late 90s, early 2000s iterations of, like, Metal Heroes would have been. But then at the same time, again, super side tangent, there are characters, I think it's in Kuga or Agito, where there are basically Metal Hero Kamen Riders.
Oh, yeah, like with G3. Yeah, G3.
Yeah, G3, that's literally just like, oh, hey, what if a Metal Hero was still on the show?
Yeah.
and then even with Kabuto, some of their before they do their clock up stuff, like they have Metal Hero as armor on.
Very true. Yeah. And it's also interesting that, like, we've sort of had a resurgence of Metal Heroes. Like, Toei has toyed around with Metal Heroes in the 2010s. We had the Gavon movie that introduced a next generation Gavon with Gavon Type G. We had Kaiju versus Gavon. We had Deca Ranger and Gavon crossing over, and we had Space Sheriff Jiraiya, or what was it? Yeah, it was Jiraiya that had a
ninja.
He was with Ninja, crossover with Ninja. And
they briefly rebooted Kikaider, and nothing came from that.
Yes, I remember that too.
They definitely tried, but again, those two guys showed up in Beast Morphers.
Yes.
Again.
Oh yeah, because in Japan they crossed over. Yeah.
That's an interesting thing. I kind of, because I know there are like Sentai, like Kamen Rider crossovers. That's one thing I would have loved to see adapted, is that they can somehow like figure that out. I've always thought that'd been kind of cool. Like it's like if Ultraman appeared on like a Sentai show in the States and they adapted that episode, like would they call him Ultraman, or would they be like, oh, that's Justice Guy or something?
It's Super Dude.
Well, because remember they called Space Sheriff Gavin Captain Chaku.
Yes, named after his transformation, his henshin phrase, Joe Chaku.
So like. It would be interesting, like would they call him Captain Shawatch or something like
that?
Like, I mean, here's the thing. I wouldn't be mad by that, but it'd be like, I'd just be curious.
Watch. They adapt like Power Rangers back into Super Sentai, and they call like the Red Ranger like Morph Man.
I mean, yeah, like Morphin Man, or
like, Morphin Man,
or Mighty Man.
Yeah.
Or what I introduced yesterday too, Machine Man, who was the coolest, like...
Oh, yes, I remember.
Pose.
And the one thing that I don't... Like, so, looking at what we've seen, we don't know if this means that other Metal Heroes are coming back, or if other Toei heroes are coming back. I mean, that would be wild if, like, the next season they're gonna bring back, like, fucking Kikaider or some shit. Or
it'd be very curious. And I know that, speaking of that stuff, that some of that stuff's coming back into the Boom Comics. I think they recently announced the VR Troopers, which again is what Sheridan, Metalder, and something else.
Yeah. Scheider, Sharavan,
Sharavan, and Metalder.
Yeah.
But like, again, but I was telling Andres, like, that only means we might see a return of Mass Rider, which I'm so stoked on. I rewrote 5 episodes,
which we may delve into in a future episode.
Yeah, and I'll have a complete meltdown on the podcast because I'm like too invested in my own work.
So going into what we actually know about Gavon Infinity, Super Space Sheriff Gavon Infinity, is we have 3 heroes. We have Gavon Infinity, Gavon Luminous, and Gavon Bushido. We know that there's a giant robot that transforms into a ship that also transforms into a gun, according to the toy. And
that's sick.
There are collectible canisters with different emotions on them. This is the one thing I don't like about the toy line. I feel like this is, again, we're going back into that kiddie stuff, but like too kiddie that even, I don't know if kids are going to like. I sent you a photo on Facebook, you guys. So this seems to be like...
these will be in the show notes.
Yeah, and this will be the collectible tchotchkes that I'm presuming will
These look like Mr. Beast toys.
Yeah, and you know what? Remember Mighty Beans? They kind of look like the designs you'd see on Mighty Beans.
Like, it'd be one thing if they had like stylish things, but these are very Western-looking cartoon designs.
Yeah, I don't know
this
how...
this looks like it's out of, like, Chowder.
Yeah, honestly, I can see it. I don't know.
I mean that with full intent to hurt their feelings.
Yeah, but like going by the trailers themselves, they give off a similar vibe as the initial trailers for Kamen Rider Zets, and they are planning a simultaneous release, much like Kamen Rider Zets. So I'm very curious.
Again, Metal Hero also again had that appeal where it was kind of like a little older than the Kamen Rider. Like you could be an older kid and watch a Metal Hero.
So it looks like, from the looks of things, with the exception of those little Mighty Beans canisters, goofy canister things, it seems like they're aiming towards a Western audience similar to Kamen Rider Zets. So I want to know what you guys think, starting with David. Like, what do you think of Gavon Infinity from what we've seen so far, from the trailers, the toys, the promo images, everything?
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't been keeping up with much details like that because I want to be surprised when I watch that first episode, because I will watch that. I haven't seen Super Sentai since 2014, but I will watch this because it's got my curiosity.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of making Gavin.
Yeah.
What's the correct way to pronounce it?
I'm not sure. I'll be real with you. I called him Gavin, and then I heard him pronounced as Gavon. So
I only go by the Japanese pronunciation.
The Japanese pronunciation is Gyaban.
Yes,
like
there is a Y sound in there. Gyaban. Yeah.
So what is the English pronunciation?
We'll find out in the English dub eventually.
There is no English dub for Gavin.
Well, in Infinity, maybe when it eventually gets dubbed.
Gavin. I'm just gonna call him Gavin because that's.
Are you sure you don't want to call him Galvin?
Also,
Boy.
I mean, he almost appeared in that episode. There's an episode of Beetleborgs where they go to Comic-Con and Jan Person's there.
Yes, Gun Gibson and John Person.
Gavin. There's also a B there in the Japanese pronunciation.
Gabon.
Well, anyways, God damn, I forgot what I was about to say.
Well, because you said, again, much like myself,
I'm not a fan of the red coloring because
you don't like forcing him into a Red Ranger role.
Yeah. But also he looks like another Metal Hero, a Charavan or whatever.
The second one.
Charavan was red, right? Or was that Scheider?
I think Scheider was blue.
Oh, Scheider was blue, yeah. Charavan, yeah. Because if you're going to make him red, why not just make him Charavan?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I thought these were all... Again, I assumed the silver one was Gavan, the red one was Charavan, and the yellow one was a new guy.
Yeah, but I guess it's like, nah, we gotta spread the Gavan name around because it's the only one... what do you call it? Grandfather clause. It's like, he's the oldest one, he's the first one, so he's the one we gotta prioritize. It's like Mighty Morphin in America. We gotta do Mighty Morphin again because that's the only one anyone remembers.
Yeah, and again, I think it's retooling like the very, very basic lore of how he even works.
Yeah, like he's a space sheriff.
Have they mentioned at all whether it's set in the same universe as the first Gavin?
We haven't gotten any. Maybe there's a plot synopsis in the Japanese magazines, but as far as we know, there hasn't been a trailer that focused on the story. It's always just been like abstract visuals.
Because that would be the only way for for me that it would make sense to make the new Gavin red. That it's just an upgrade on the original.
Or he's just another space sheriff. Like, obviously, we have multiple space sheriffs in this one new series alone. So it's like he's just a space sheriff who happens to have the rank or title of Gavan.
It's a title? I thought that was his name.
Oh, no. Like, well, Gavan, that's okay. For the original Gavan. For the original Gavan, that was his alien name. He had a human disguise name when he came to Earth, but that was his OG name. I never saw the anniversary movie, so I don't know how Gavan Type G works, because I know he's a separate individual altogether.
Yeah, it's something we'll have to do research on. More development soon.
Exactly.
And I'm in a similar boat as David, where it's like I only recently got discovered Gavan just on one of my weird hyperfixation loops.
Mm-hmm.
I found it and I was like, this is kind of neat. And then I was watching some stuff, but I'm kind of in a simbo. I'm because it was in such a small time window that it's very much like this would almost be like it's semi second reboot even.
Right.
Because it was because the Power Rangers again they've redone the wheel for past 30 almost 40 60 years or whatever of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
With Metal Hero again came about in the 90s or 70s. No, well, the mainstay of a lot of them was the 80s and 90s.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah, the 80s, yeah, 80s and 90s.
Yeah, because Gavan was right in the tail end, right? That was late 70s into the 80s.
Oh, 81 was Gavan.
Okay, but it was probably filmed in the 70s.
Probably. It does have a lot of that 70s energy to it. I've been watching it on YouTube and later on Tubi. It was recently added to Tubi in very pristine quality, much better than the YouTube quality ones with the yellow piss filter. Ironically enough, bringing us full circle. But
because. I think I'm very much in the same thing where it's I feel like it also helps that again I don't have that much of a personal stake in the game of how they'd be treating my boys, you know what I'm saying? So right. I'm just curious of I hope it works. I'm just very curious of what they plan on doing and how they're planning on selling it.
Me too. I'm definitely with you there. I'm very curious how they're going to sort of seemingly merge the modern Super Sentai and Metal Hero styles. We don't know if it's going to be kiddie like
Sentai. They haven't done Metal Hero again since the 90s, so it's
right.
What is the modern sensibility of a Metal Hero?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. And
because again, are they now? Because again, they're usually Space Rangers or military operatives in most cases.
Or what do you call it? Super police, super cops, essentially.
G-Bon. So it's one of those things where it's what is that? What is that for a show? How do you structure that? Because it's not. There's still a team, the Team Sentai format.
Mm-hmm.
But is their lifestyle going to be similar to that of a Goofy Ultraman show or a Kamen Rider? What's kind of trope are they going to be diving into?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I would like to look at this show as we continue to do this podcast. So
we'll definitely we'll have updates, the Gavan updates.
Yeah, so we got ourselves a little thing to look over. And you know what? Honestly, it's always exciting to see a brand new tokusatsu franchise emerge, or at least a revival of something we hadn't seen before. It's almost kind of funny how when SOS started, Godzilla 2014 was just starting, getting off the ground. So it's interesting that we start Kaiju Caballeros on the eve of the birth of Project Red and Gavan Infinity.
Mm-hmm.
How it'll turn out is anyone's guess.
Will we outlive them? We'll find out.
Stay tuned on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. So, do either of you have anything to add before we wrap this shit up?
I think I've said what I need to say so far, at least about this one, at least about the topic at hand that we didn't already cover in the Lost episode.
Mm-hmm.
But very much the same, just a little more structured. But yeah, so overall, it's I'm very curious to see where things will go.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things where even though I haven't been invested or into it, it's like an old friend you still keep up with every so often, but never talk to, where you're I hope they're doing well,
mm-hmm.
Kind of stuff. So that's really what I want, because it's it's one of those main staples. You always kind of want, it's been around for so long, you kind of would miss it if it just suddenly was away forever.
That's very
in
real.
one shape or form.
And you know what? They tell us that Super Sentai will at least be going away for at least 10 years. So it's going to be wild to think that we're going to be in our 40s by the time if Super Sentai ever comes back.
I mean, like, again, when Godzilla went away again, I was a teenager. Then I was a 20-year-old person when, Godzilla came back.
Yeah, it's very true. Very
So,
true.
like, I literally was a child, and then I became an adult, and Godzilla was back in my life. So, like, we'll have that moment soon.
That's true. And you know what? I'm glad to have had Super Sentai, the knowledge of an annual Super Sentai always there for me up to this point, and I will certainly treasure that forever.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Any final thoughts, David?
I think Super Sentai is going to come back in 5 years.
You're calling
It's
it
definitely
now.
gonna come back. It'll probably come back sooner than you think. Like, I wonder if they'll have a Godzilla 98 effect where, like, the Disney thing will suck so bad that they'll be like, okay, fuck, like, hold my beer. We're getting back in this shit, boys.
Oh, you know what? I wouldn't doubt it if they still continue the anniversary movies like they did for Deca Ranger, Abba Ranger.
It might be one of those things where, like, they might make smaller projects that are way better, and then again, that might spur, like, them coming back early if people are like, oh wait, I miss Super Sentai. Like, this little short movie you made is amazing.
Yeah,
So,
it would
who
be cool.
knows?
Yeah, like the Kaku Ranger 30th anniversary short. We got like small things like that.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Absolutely.
Except for that weird furry thingy.
You like the furry thing.
Something about the face was fucked up. I didn't like that. I liked like part of it, but then like I think it was like an effect they did with the eyes or something. I was like, ugh, no.
Well, anyways, folks, that is it for this episode of Kaiju Caballeros. If you enjoyed this discussion, like the video, subscribe, and let us know in the comments.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button. Click subscribe for more. And let us know
that bell. Ding, ding.
Let us know in the comments what movie, series, or topic we should tackle next, because we've already dropped hints at what we'd like to talk about for future episodes, but we also want to know what you guys think. We are always open
and we'll
for
read your
feedback.
question out loud. I mean, we could. We won't make you sound like an idiot. I will sound like the idiot.
I mean, heck, if you got any questions that you'd like us to answer at the end, we can do like a what do you call it? Q&A thing at the end of every episode. We can possibly do that, but we can't do it without your support. So, where can people find you guys?
David, I'll let you go first.
They can find me at Gorizard on YouTube.
Hey man, don't undersell yourself. We spent like 20 minutes talking about how cool you are.
Yeah, you got social medias people can follow you at.
Yeah.
You got Instagram.
Yeah, but I don't use it.
But people can follow you.
How does Mike?
All right, where can people find you, Frank?
So, multiple places. Some things are not as active as they used to be, but we'd still like to see your support and just check out the stuff we've done. So I am at the Hub Show 8-Arm Spidey, which is the number 8, ARMED SPIDEY. That is my primary cosplay page. I've been taking a long hiatus, but I'm slowly getting back into the game like I do every couple of years. But you can also follow me on a few other social medias of stuff I've helped and been involved with. Some current, some no longer in service, as it were. I was a social media rep, still sort of am, of This Is Rad. You can find that at This Is Rad on Instagram and This Is Rad on Twitter. And also Everything Is Scary again, another show I used to do with co-host Amy Drolet. Again, we still have episodes up, viewable on our Instagram at Everything Is Scary and at Pod Scary on Twitter. Also, I currently now do the social media for the Hollow Rewind podcast, hosted by Jacob Davidson and Ryan Coltera, who, again, Latino, we might have to have him on someday. But they is a Halloween horror themed podcast that I currently do the social media. I actually was recently on an episode talking about Monster House. So bring it all back to monster stuff. So yeah, those are all my plugs, friends.
Excellent. For me, you can follow me on here on YouTube, Instagram, and Blue Sky under Kaiju Noir. You can follow me on Twitter under PW_Draco Azul, and you can follow me on Facebook at Primal Warrior Draco Azul for all the latest updates concerning my stuff on YouTube, my comics, my novels, my webcomic, which you can also check out on Webtoon, which is Primal Warrior Draco Azul Gaiden Hellfire. I recently completed it last month. You can check it out in its entirety over there. And you can find the main Draco Azul comics and novels over on Amazon, both in printed and digital forms.
And remember, only issue 3.
Only issue 3. We'll explain that in due time. But yes, definitely check them out.
Yes, and remember, kids, stick to the local brew.
That's local brew. I have been Andres Perez, aka Kaiju Noir.
I am Andres Espungus.
Come
They all
on.
know who I am.
Frank, that's you.
Me? Oh, well, I'm leaving.
Until next time, stay monstrous, caballeros.